Welcome, everybody. It's a Friday night show. If you've seen the end of it, that's my last name. It's Culp. And if you've seen it, we broke it down. So we will see you later, pal. But not yet. Don't go anywhere. We have a great show and for everyone who's coming. And if you haven't seen us live or you're going to watch us in the background, coming back, doing something great, we appreciate you. But it's Friday night, and we like to start it out. Hopefully, everybody has something nice to drink. I got a cup of coffee. Yes, coffee. And I like a little bit of coffee. I got my good buddy David McNiner here and Kenny Culp. So if you guys heard the last name, that's my cousin, good old friend, buddy, friend of the family. So don't get if you hear a weird story, don't be alarmed, guys. It's been one heck of a week. I tell you what, I woke up and it was Monday. I think I went to bed and I closed my eyes, and yeah, you close your eyes when you sleep, right? But when I woke up, it was Friday already. This week really flew by. A lot of things happening. I don't want to bore you with all the details of the maintenance man, but you know what? I tell you what, maintenance definitely happened this week. So, folks, a lot of other things happened. We didn't get a DC. The Niners did not hire a coordinator yet. The Underwear Olympics, we'll call it the NFL Combine. It's happening. So, folks, there's speculations. We've done some draft mocks. That's a lot of fun. But tonight is not a football show. Yes, you heard that right. We'll talk a little bit about football, but we'll get into a little bit of other stuff. If you notice the intro, we always try to change it up a little bit. So you might hear some weird stuff or talk about something that maybe just isn't always, but it's not anything inappropriate. It's something that you definitely can listen to and enjoy. Kenny, what you got going on, buddy?
I am chilling at home. I've been waiting all week for the Friday night show presented by the late, great Korey Davis, starring Brian Culp, David McNiner, and a lowly third man on the poll, Kenny Culp. And we're excited that everyone's here. We got some great guests. What do you think, David?
I'm excited for tonight. It's not necessarily all about 49ers, but it kind of is.
When you're faithful, you kind of don't ever stop talking about it. And, if you like the football as much as us or some of our guests, and you always kind of somehow, somewhere bring it up. I mean, like I kind of look around and I don't seem like I can't ever find a spot where it's not in my eyes. So football is definitely part of my life 24/7. But, if you notice, let's go this way. We got Batman too. So there's a lot to talk about. So folks, if you guys didn't hear, we need a DC. We need a defensive coordinator. And I like that talk because every time I hear DC, I start thinking Batman and comic books. But they're supposed to be here really soon, a new Batman. It hasn't dropped yet. The new actor's going to be coming soon. So you guys can hopefully, that might work out pretty good. I still stand firm on my belief. The Lego Batman movie, if you haven't seen it, is the best Batman movie. It is. If you like all the Easter eggs and all the, I don't know. I went with my kids, and I was probably the loudest guy giggling in the theater. Kenny, is there a movie that's got you tickled, or like one of those movies that you would recommend to everybody?
Man, I love Tombstone. It's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah,
I love it. To be honest, it's not very accurate, and I'll be honest, it also isn't very good, but I love it. So. How about
David,
you, Dave?
what's a movie? Yeah.
You ever seen The Green Mile?
Yeah, It's a great movie.
I mean, it's a serious movie, but it's really good. The Shawshank Redemption is also really good. Saving Private Ryan. I mean, yeah, I'm kind of into some serious movies, folks. But I do like some comedies, like Scary Movie. The original from back in the day. If you haven't seen it, folks, I highly recommend you watch it.
Hey, there are also some, movies that are maybe taboo. I remember one called Saving Ryan's Privates. But hey, we have guests tonight, so we should bring one on.
Let's bring them on. And thank you everyone in the chat for coming. If you want to let us know what movies you recommend, then definitely. But no later or any more delay. Let's bring her on in. If you guys don't recognize her, I don't know where you've been. She really doesn't need an introduction. She really deserves an introduction. And the reason she deserves one is because of the lady that she is. She's a great lady. She supports a lot. And you know what? They say behind every great man, there's a good lady. No, there's a great lady behind every good man. And you guys sometimes they get it backwards. But I like to think that a great lady and a great man stand next to each other. And somebody like Peachy, I would be so proud to have her on. So yes, I let the cat out of the bag. We have Miss Peachy Brown. We're gonna bring her on in. And folks, please give her a warm round of applause. We are so thankful to have you here. Thank you, Peachy, for coming.
Hey, how you guys doing tonight?
Great.
We're doing
Doing
pretty
great.
Awesome. I am glad to be here. Very excited about this. Seems it's gonna be a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
I love it. I love it. It's a little bit warm. I think you've met everybody here. You might not have met Kenny, but Kenny is he's new to the studio, but he's going to be around. He's bringing a lot of good vibes, a lot of energy, and you know what? That's what the show's about. And let's start it out. So back in the day, there was a TV show out here in California. It was Fox 40, and I'm sure you had something back east. And you're about my age. So when you were coming home, and this is one of those things that kind of is upsetting because there's no more like cartoons after school. There's no more waking up Saturday morning, right?
Yeah.
Now you can stream everything. You can, it's just one of those things. It's like anytime you want anything, you can really just fingertips, you can really get it. But being able to come home, and like for me, like my mom was home and my brother and me, we walked home from school together, but we always wanted to get home so we could watch cartoons. We had our regular cartoon block. So was there a special cartoon that you would race home to get to watch? Or was there like a sitcom? Because also that's one of those things that they like to put right after cartoons, like those reruns.
Yeah. So what I would like rush home to watch was actually the after school special. That I believe it was on ABC, if I'm not mistaken. It's an after school special. And that's what I would rush home to watch because either during it or sometime in the middle of it, they would always have like a Schoolhouse Rock thing where they would do that. So that's what I would rush home to watch is the after school specials.
I like it. I really like it. All right, let's pass it to David, and then we'll go to Kenny. Each one of us is going to start asking you questions slowly, but we want to, get some warm questions out to you. So, David, you know Miss Peachy, and I'm going to hand it to you.
Well, you know what? When I was a kid, there was Saturday morning cartoons. There were cartoons after school. There were, not that I got to watch them because I had to do my homework before I could do anything fun. But there were also a lot of game shows on television. So, is there any game shows that you used to watch?
My favorite game show, and I don't know if you guys remember this or not, it was Press Your Luck because I love the whammy.
Stop.
So it was definitely Press Your Luck. I know I'm dating myself, but
Hey, I remember.
But that was the whammy, and then of course everybody's favorite, The Price is Right. So those are my two that were my favorite.
Very nice. Yeah, I love the whammies because they always had a different cartoon.
Yes,
And that was so-
exactly.
And you know it was fixed, but people would be rolling and they would just go, "Stop, $1 million."
Right.
And then they're like, "No, I'm gonna go one more," and they're like, "All right," and
Right.
And it was so fun. I loved game shows. I grew up at the same time as you guys, I'm sure. So we had cartoons after school. Then it was like Different Strokes, Facts of Life.
Oh yes, absolutely.
My God, everything. So it was so good. And then we had Saturday cartoons. And on Sundays, I don't know what we did on Sundays. I can't even tell you. I guess we went out because we still went out when we were young. Now kids don't really go out. So that leads me to my question, Peachy.
Mm-hmm.
Are you more of an introvert or an extrovert?
Oh, wow. Okay, so back in the day, I was like an introvert. Like like I was crazy shy. I was whatever. But now I'm definitely an extrovert. Like I try to meet as many people as I can, socialize with as many people as I can. Um I guess just, trying to make sure that I stay in contact with all my closest people and, am always willing to meet new ones. So yeah, definitely. And then, like during the season, like when I'm out, at games and things like that, definitely an extrovert. Yeah. hmm
Awesome. What you got, Brian?
All right, so this is gonna be my one for the night. It's not the I don't want to stump you, but I just really I want your thoughts on this. So, Peachy, you have a lot of knowledge on college sports and how things are happening, and there's some noise happening where players should get paid coming and playing for these universities because of they need things. They need to be able to eat. We've heard the great Jerry Rice say that he didn't eat enough when he was in college because of the food. We've heard this from other athletes. So I'm not necessarily, it's not my opinion, and it's not I don't want to answer this for you, but with that happening, colleges could pay players, young athletes to play for them, and then go to the draft, right? But the idea of college is you were supposed to go to college to become a professional in some type of study. You were supposed to go to college to have a career. The football part or the athlete part of it was the extra. It's like the extra part in high school. But now with professional sports getting to the point that they are, and players making millions and almost billions, some players are getting stock ownership into professional teams. So again, this is my idea. Do you think it's better that they go ahead and continue the route that they're going, where these professional athletes are potentially possibly going to get paid in college, and then therefore they can decide to go, and it's not their choice if they get drafted or not, but they could continue to go and try to play professional sports in Canada, elsewhere, different parts of the world, or in the United States, even going to different stuff. It's not just about football, but arena football league and all these other soccer team sports. Or should they make farm teams where these players can come out from high school at the age of 18, they go to a arena football league or a flag football league where they can be developed, and then to the point where, because right now, if I'm correct, you can't go to college and you can't come out of football, high school, and go directly into the NFL. They want you to be, I want you to say 21 or 22. They want you to be a little bit older because the development, it hasn't happened completely for your body.
Right.
Men are still growing. Men don't stop growing, I think, until the age of 27, if I'm correct. But again, so that's my idea is, should they, and this is my question again, should they build like minor league baseball teams, minor league football teams for these players, high schoolers, to come in and start playing instead of going the route of college? It's not that I'm trying to eliminate college, but if the players that go to college, they have an opportunity like Steve Young to get a business license, to get a law degree. The law degree that Steve Young got is allowing him to continue to get paid from the $40 million contract that he had in the 80s. He's still guaranteed that money because he put insurance on it. So again, should they make a avenue? Because right now, the only other avenue you can get into the NFL is undrafted free agent, college draft, or a walk-on. And they only have 1 or 2 tryouts a year as a walk-on, if I'm correct. And you have to be very lucky to get offered that walkout. So no more questions from me. I want your thoughts. Do they, again, do they continue the route that they have, or do we open up another route that we continue with what we have right now, but open up another route for these players to potentially get into the NFL?
In my opinion, I am against the farm team idea. I know the NBA has theirs. I forgot what it's called now, but they have theirs now where they have one where they go to, I think it's called Ignite, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. And I get it, and that's awesome for the NBA. The only difference I think between like the NBA and the NFL, as far as my opinion goes, is that being a huge college fan, and I'm a Buckeye fan, and if you open that option up, to me, college is not just about, going there and just even playing the sport. It's about cultivating relationships. It's about having something to cheer for. It's about the mascot. Like it's about so much. The whole environment is about together building a brotherhood and everything like that. I feel like with farm teams, I feel like that it's not exactly the same thing, because you're not going to be around the same environment, and it's not going to be like, you're not going to be together, you're not going to be in dorms, there's all these things that you're not going to be a part of. And I feel like that togetherness prepares players for the NFL, for when you get to the NFL and locker rooms and things like that. When you're a farm team, you're not exactly around, these players like all the time. You go to your separate places and things like that. I do, and am very happy that we do have the NIL program in college for players, because as you have brought up about Jerry Rice talking about that, he, like there was times when he couldn't eat and there was different things like that. The fact that now players no longer have to worry about that, because now those rules are gone, where, you couldn't even go to McDonald's, without getting permission, and the coaches couldn't bring you anything, and they couldn't do all these things without going through whatever. And there's coaches that have actually got fined and suspended for breaking those kind of rules, which I always thought were silly. So the fact that now these players have the freedom and the ability to eat when they want to eat, to get the things that they need, when they need them, is really, really important. But to answer your question, as far as the farm teams, like for the NFL, I'm not really a fan of that. For the NBA, a lot of players in the NBA are kind of like one and done in college anyway. So it's not that big of a deal for them to have that ignite if they go straight from high school and, skip college or whatever. But NFL is just different to me. It's always been different. And that's how I feel about it.
Well, I appreciate it. I really, we could go on and on, probably do a whole show on.
Oh yeah, we probably could.
I would love to, but again, this time I'm getting Kenny, and then we'll go to David. So Kenny's going to ask you a question, and David.
Okay. Peachy.
Mm-hmm.
How are you?
Good.
How do you like the show so far?
Great.
Here's a great question. I just watched Guardians of the Galaxy, and it deals in a little bit with people, who don't know who they are yet. They haven't found themselves. They don't know what their purpose is. So my question is pretty deep, I suppose. Do you feel like you found life's purpose? Do you know what life is about? Do you feel like you figured out life by now? Think you know what makes you happy?
I think that at 51, I definitely think that I have figured out life's purpose. I do know how to make myself happy. It doesn't mean that I'm always happy, but I know what I need to do in order to be happy. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah. You need the bitter for the sweet to be
exactly. Sweet. Yes, absolutely. It takes both.
It was so good to have you on. You are a beautiful woman, and we are glad to have you. You're so smart, and I'm going to pass you over to David, and we can't wait to have you on again.
Absolutely.
Now, my question is not as complicated or deep as these guys. But what is your favorite food?
Oh, that's easy. It's lasagna.
Mm.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I make a mean, 7-layer lasagna. Like it's, yeah. I can definitely be boastful about it. It's the best, and anyone who's ever had it will tell you that. It goes, yeah, she could be boastful about it, but yes, it's definitely lasagna.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Well, Cynthia says it wonderful. thank you so much for coming on. I'm gonna
Yes.
we would keep you a little longer, maybe next time a little bit longer, but this time we're going to keep it a little short. I want to say thank you so much. I
Absolutely.
have one final question. This is kind of a fun one, and we're going to let you tell us, and we'll have you come on back sometime again. Thank you everybody for coming. It's been a lot of fun, and please reach out if you'd like to come on and have fun like this. We would really like to have you as well. So, Miss Peachy, what's your favorite Power Ranger?
Oh wow. I was thinking about this, and I would have to go back to the old school Power Rangers, and it would have to be. And I can't remember her name, but it was the pink one.
Kimberly.
Kimberly. That was my favorite. Yep.
I appreciate it. That was one of those Saturday morning cartoons I wanted to make sure I woke up to get to see. And, it was cheesy at the time, but it made me smile. And I really, I think a lot of people, there's a couple of those icons that you can ask, and people would say, oh, yeah, I like the Green Ranger. I like this one or that one. So I appreciate it. Miss Peachy, we'll have you back on sometime again. And let me know again if there's anything I can ever do to, say thank you again.
Absolutely.
And with that, folks, if you don't know about her, go subscribe. Go check her out on Twitter. She does a lot of stuff with a lot of great people out there. My wife, she does things with Wayne Breezy, Mo's Nose, and every once in a while, I'm lucky enough to get her on here with us. So I appreciate you so much.
Bye.
Awesome.
All right. So, folks, it's been a lot of fun. We appreciate everyone being here, and you don't have to go away anytime soon. But we have Mr. Gammon Brown. So if you'd like to stick around, but before we bring on Gammon, I would like to show you guys our little commercial break. So we're going to go down here, and we're going to show you what we're doing. So please watch and give me an email. Well, folks, thank you so much for taking that break with us. We're going to bring on our next guest, Mr. Gammon Brown. It looks like you got a nice fresh shave there, Mr. Gammon. Thank you so much for coming. If you guys haven't seen him, I don't. Maybe you need to. I don't know. I wear glasses as well. Gammon's everywhere, folks. He's been here before. He's been everywhere. And I really appreciate Gammon. I appreciate all of your time. And we got some good questions for you today. So you just heard Peachy. I don't want to have you leave, with the last question that you just heard. So let's get the elephant out of the room. First, this is Kenny. I don't think you've met Kenny, and maybe you have. And we have Mr. McNiner here, and you know David. So who's your favorite Power Ranger, Mr. Gammon?
Green Ranger for sure.
Let's go. Now, Green Ranger or White Ranger, or does it count?
It does count. I'd say the Green Ranger. It's something about how flawed he was, like how he was an outcast, but really there was a group or a family for him that he belonged in. So just watching that kind of arc was something that I could always kind of identify with. Not like I went from like evil to good, but just finding that sense of belonging. And then once you get that team around you, you're finally like you're hyped, and then you got somebody you can kind of go to battle, go to war with. So I like the Green Ranger for all of that.
I love it. I love it. And see, some people they don't say it matters. Some people say it matters because there was a change. There was a change in atmosphere. There's a change in his mood. He got a fancy shield on his chest. It was a little different than the other one. Just a whole different, got different. Anyways, we could go and do a whole show about that as well. Maybe one day.
I do want to say though that one of the reasons too why I really liked him is because I was a big fan of King Arthur and Camelot and Excalibur. So I always kind of saw the Red Ranger as kind of like King Arthur. But we always knew that Lancelot was like really the best of the best, the cream of the crop, even though he wasn't leader. And so I always just kind of viewed the Green Ranger as kind of the same way.
Yeah, indeed. That just puts a totally different spin on it. It really does. So let's throw it to Mr. McNiner. Mr. McNiner, you've been around, you've seen Gammon. So, but what do you have for Gammon tonight?
So, what are your thoughts on AI refs in the NFL, and when do you think it's going to happen?
Boy, my thoughts are if you have people playing the game, you need to have people refereeing and overseeing the game. You know, there's that human error. I think it's just an element, part of it. You know, honestly, I just think, you know, there's times where we're really happy where they kind of let the refs play, or the refs let everybody play, and then other times where it's not. I think where it comes into like a good element of it though, and where it is needed is maybe in that final 2 minutes. And then it kind of gives, you know, where we really can't have anything messed up. Then I think then that's where it's good. So I think it's more of a situational kind of thing.
Okay.
All right. Kenny, rock, paper, scissors, or would you like to go next?
Let's see. Gammon Brown, hello. I'm
Hey,
Kenny
hey.
Culp. Nice to have you. Do you believe that each of us has a soulmate?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you're looking at him right now. But yeah, no, absolutely. You know, and it may not even just be one. So some of you guys and gals who get a divorce, you know, there might be a different soulmate there. You know, you could have a soulmate when you're 20, and then you kind of grow in or out of love, and you have a different soulmate when you're 30. It's all part of the maturation process. We always want to find somebody that we can grow old and love with, and as they grow and their love language grows and matures, that hopefully ours does too, and it matches.
Very nice. It's all about connections.
That's it.
All right, Bryant, what you got?
All right. So, Mr. Gammon, I really do appreciate you coming on. So, how long until society reaches a universal language? With many cultures having pictures and stories of dragons, mermaids, Bigfoot, you know, different stories of, you know, different creatures. There at one time there was supposedly one culture because we all grunted, or we all, depending on what story, or, and it's not story, you know, what you believe really. And some people believe in evolution, some people believe in a different, you know, way. And religion or not, some people believe that aliens came and, you know, planted a seed and we all grew. But again, let me read the beginning of it. How long until society reaches a universal language, in your opinion?
Probably like, you know, 200 years from now. You know, back behind me, you can kind of see the Star Trek kind of Enterprise thing there. I do think that things like AI are going to kind of help bridge the gap. I mean, we're getting pretty close to the point of where AI is going to be able to start tutoring people and everything like that. So pretty soon you may not even have to worry about paying for a tutor if you want to learn something. AI can do that. In fact, some of the things that's done, it started reworking some of the keyboards, and AI figured out, it went through like a whole bunch of stuff, and it figured out actually a better version of the keyboard than what we have right now. But I think it's just going to take some time and acceptance into that. But I think exploration and finding new different things, I think is gonna help. You know, big part of that was, you know, us being the dominant race compared to our counterparts, which is the Neanderthals. So, and I'm sure there was all kinds of, you know, you kind of go back and there was all kinds of different species of man and that sort of thing. So we kind of made the lone survivor. So that was like a huge step forward. Now the next one is that ability to communicate. So definitely AI is going to do that. We already have translators on our phones and everything else. So those things are definitely coming into place. I'm just putting 200 years just for if we all naturally speak it. But honestly, with technology, who knows? Maybe it could be like 15 years from now where we kind of just already have those devices that make that happen.
All right.
Yeah.
I like that. That's definitely some thoughts right there, because when you think about it, AI is making the world very, very small. It's making everything smaller and closer. We all are having conversations in different homes, different places in the United States, and it's really neat. It makes it nice. But there's going to be a point where AI is out thinking us all. There's going to be a point where AI is thinking for us. So if we get to a point where we're having universal language because of AI, are you imagining at one point where we might have like maybe a microchip in our head, or where we're not communicating at all, where we're more into maybe mind reading?
Absolutely. It's just I think it's just a matter of time. I mean, we're already as people, we're already tinkering with things that we don't like about ourselves, right? We're already doing physical augmentation, be that plastic surgery and everything else. So we're always, we're always trying to become the new bionic man or bionic woman. I do think that it's a matter of time for society. You kind of see that all throughout sci-fi, whether that's the Borg, the Terminator, just about anything. It's already been a thought that's been planted. And I mean, anything that could make us either look better, feel better, be better, and improve society and increase information flow is, I mean, that's something that we're always trying to become the next Michelangelo, better versions of ourselves, for sure.
I love it. I love it. David, what would you what do you got next? Because we got Gammon for a couple more minutes, and I'm sure we can get a couple more questions for him.
Well, so microwaves, right? There's a lot of people that think that we have, somehow found alien technology and reverse engineered it. And I'm using a microwave as an example. Do you think we have actually reverse engineered alien technology?
No, I don't. If we did, there'd be some version where we'd be really kind of hard flexing that. I always thought it was kind of funny in that one movie, Independence Day, where back in the '90s, they with their old poopy Apple Macintosh computers that they were able to give some kind of virus and just bring down like just somehow with their whatever technology they have and just take down all the ships and everything like that. So I just think there's things, if there were aliens here, right, and you're talking about the different levels for civilization, I just think it'd be way too much for us to really comprehend, break down, and also too some of those materials, may not be here on Earth, right? So there's a lot of asteroids and other things that are kind of floating around. So in order for us to reverse engineer, there may be materials that we don't actually have, new elements that we don't actually have or produce. So we may not be able to do it, or in enough of an abundance at scale in order to actually do it, let alone the programming technology. I mean, you can't just, if they've got a big metal spear, maybe we can do that. But it's, it'd be like if we took our one of our cell phones, went back to the Middle Ages, like 1200 Europe, we could give that to them, but there's no way that they would have the computing technology to actually be able to build that.
Kenny, what do you think? What do you got? What do we got for Gammon? Because Gammon's on fire tonight.
Gammon's rolling right now. Gammon, I want to know more about you, sir. So how would your friends describe you?
So I think one of them would be huge nerd, introvert. When I'm in my house, and then once you get me out of the house, it's just like all of a sudden it's night and day. I turn into like almost like a wrestler kind of like mentality. Like I just become the life of the party. If there's a dance floor, I'm sliding out there. I'm clearing the dance floor. And then I go. My personality grows like tenfold. I basically like explode like Colossus at that point. I turn to Nature Boy, Ric Flair, and I just have a lot of fun because I think that's the thing is once you're out with people, and it's nothing but love. It's nice to just send that love and that energy out, and then to kind of get it. So it's just interesting when you charge people, they charge you back, and then it's lightning that just keeps on going. So I'm sure that's the same with all of us here. But yeah, I'd say I'm really kind of quiet and to myself. But if you send me an invite and we go hang out, all of a sudden it's like, holy cow, you know what I mean? This guy is just unleashed at that point, unchained. So I don't know.
Yeah, we got a rain check for that, me and you. So, okay, is the moon hollow in your opinion?
No.
Why would you say that?
Because I don't, no, I just don't think that it is. It's still got enough gravitational pull, right? So let's say if it had like a core or something like that, and then it just like died out, and then it's just this empty mass that's just kind of floating around us. I think that'd be different, but it has enough weight to it, right? Whenever we have all the ocean waves that are kind of going on, so it has enough of a gravitational pull to actually produce waves that we have here for the ocean. So I don't believe that it's hollow.
Okay, so then it's not made of cheese. Okay. The reason I ask is because some people believe that it could, the moon landing's fake. Some people believe that, my mom always likes to say, from Looney Tunes, the moon's made of cheese, and I just laugh.
Wallace and Gromit thought it was.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? All right, what you got?
You want me to go?
Yeah, if you're ready to go for it again, David, when you're ready right afterwards, we'll have you go. So go ahead, Kenny, if you got another question.
Okay. Cameron, who in your family do you feel closest to?
Boy, pretty much everybody. I don't know. I know that's kind of crazy. It really kind of goes back to the thing that I said earlier. I'm really, once I hop off of here, I'm probably going to grab my son and watch some old reruns of Are You Afraid of the Dark, and just kind of have some fun with that. But it's just really like whoever is there, if you're within arm's reach, and we're kind of hanging out, we're family at that point, and we are close, and we're bonded at that point. I'm 39. I can't believe that I'm saying I'm 39, going to be turning 40 this year. Life is so short. I just think that when you're in the presence of anybody, friends or family, the best thing you can do is just give that person just unfiltered, unadulterated your all. And the reason why they're there is that they should be like-minded and doing the same for you. So I just think that there should just be no filter, any tap on that.
It's a great answer. Tomorrow is never promised. So
that's right. But you do know what today is, right?
What's that?
It's let's see here. It's first day of Women's History.
That's right. It's Women's History Month.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. So I was really glad that you actually started off the show and you kicked it off with Peachy. So
unintentionally, but we'll take
now. Hey, that's great. That's
taking
great.
the credit now.
Yeah.
We're editing it all out.
So yeah, Silly Putty was an unintentional mistake, but it was great. So
it still worked for everyone.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
You could take your comics with you in putty form instead of paper form. It was perfect.
Absolutely. Since you guys have all asked me a question, I want to ask you guys a quick question.
Hey, you hold up. I got one more.
One more.
So you're in the military, and thank you for your service. Have you traveled the world? And if you have, where was your favorite place other than the U.S.?
Probably Ireland. No, I've always wanted to go to Scotland. So for people out there who are watching and you're undecided about whether you want to join the military or not, one of the neat things about if you join the military, and I don't know why that they don't push this as kind of like a recruiting technique or even for those who are in, if you know somebody who's in, maybe you're not in, you have no intention of joining, but you know somebody, you have a niece, nephew, brother, sister, I don't know, somebody's in. What's crazy is a lot of soldiers who are in don't realize that you can have these space A flights, space available flights. We just call them space A for short. And it's because the Air Force and all these things, right? They've always got to be moving stuff here and there, logistics, right? So since they're already doing that, maybe they're just moving like a Hummer from one base to another. And maybe it's going to be, somewhere else. Maybe it's going to be in Japan or something like that. But all that money, all that fuel, everything else is being spent. And it's just like, you can just, as long they'll have enough room for maybe another 15, 20 passengers. So you can actually hop on that flight to Japan for free. Now there's no meals or anything like that that's on there. So you'll have to but that's a great way. Yeah. And so, but I've always wanted to kind of go to Scotland and Australia. So me, being, black and white, I don't always like saying like white because there's Irish, Jewish, Scottish, all these kinds of things. But I always told my family I felt like I was Scottish, and everyone laughed at me. And then we found out, we did the genealogy and found out we do have some Scottish in us, and I was very, very excited because I'm a big Highlander fan and would love to get out there and play some golf and everything else. So, but yeah, I know that kind of went over there. But yeah, I mean, I think anywhere where you can go and get some perspective is neat, because that's one thing that the other societies, when they view Americans, is that because we just stay here where we're at, we really lack that outside world perspective. Now, each of these states, you go to a state, right? California is way different than Nevada. Nevada is way different than New Hampshire, right? So each state is almost like its own little country. But it's really important for people to kind of get up and get out, especially if you live, guys who are living in California, you should at least visit Mexico once. You should at least visit Canada once. I mean, we're talking about, some driving. So, but yeah.
So I actually have a cousin that, many years ago, the Baghdad embassy, was under siege. Right. I mean, this is many years ago. I don't, hopefully people remember seeing that in the news. My cousin was an embassy guard in that embassy when it was happening.
Yeah.
So, it gives you a perspective of how much danger and, our military's in. You have to respect everybody who signs up, no matter what job it is. Yeah, you just have to. There's always a sacrifice. They're away from their family. While they're on deployment, there's always a sacrifice.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm going to give it to you real quick, Gammon, and thank you so much for coming. We will definitely have to have you back on, because I'm sure there's a lot of questions we can always go around the table, and I'm sure we can get a couple shows out of some of those questions that we have already talked. But you were saying that you had a question or two I think a question for every one of us. We do have Wolf in the background, so we'll be quick with our answers, but go ahead. You can fire away at any one or all of us at once. We won't blurt out all at the same time, of course, but go for it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask this question, and Wolf, if you're listening and hearing, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the question out there. It's just a thought. And then what I'll do is I'll politely hit the little X on my tab and dip out, and then pull up my YouTube channel and follow on from there. But here's my question. What happens if the 49ers get back to the Super Bowl, but they lose? What do you think the potential fallout could be, not just with the fans, but with Kyle Shanahan? I'll leave it at that, and I'm going to go ahead and jump on.
You guys want to tackle this in pieces?
I'm going to jump on the grenade, and the show might go south, and I really hope you guys don't take this to the wrong way. We do have Wolf in the background. We will be bringing him on shortly. I have this weird bad dream, and I can't shake it. We won 5 Super Bowls in a row. Folks, you know what I'm going to say next. And if you don't, I got a bad feeling we're going to lose 5 in a row. We're going to go 5-5 in the Super Bowl before we win our next one. Doesn't mean we're going to be a bad team, but I have a bad dream. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying I got to look around the house and see if I got something, like one of those little guys underneath my pillow or something weird. I don't know, but I got a bad. Yeah, gremlins. Gremlins are really, really weird. What do you guys think before we bring Wolf on real quick? Let's go with David. What do you think? What's the fallout going to be, David?
No, the fallout of what? Kyle Shanahan
losing another Super Bowl. Losing another Super Bowl. Just one more. Just losing this year.
Well, we've seen him lose 2, and he hasn't been fired. But I honestly think that it might be time for us to raid 49ers headquarters at that point. I'm just saying, I have a pitchfork and a torch, ready to go. Yep.
Kenny, what do you think, man?
I think if Kyle takes us back to the Super Bowl again and Brock Purdy goes to his 3rd Super Bowl in less than 3 years, I'm pretty pumped. I mean, I want to win, but I mean, that's still a pretty great accomplishment. And we go back to work. We go back to free agency, we go back to the draft, and we start again from scratch. And that's all we can do. Right now, we're playing us in the 80s and 90s. Right now, we're playing the Patriots right now. We're playing that Steeler team that was unstoppable. We're playing those Dallas teams that were unstoppable. We're on the other side. There's nothing wrong with that. It's adversity. We've won 5. If we go 5-5, 5 wins, 5 losses, and then win, I'm still happy, and it'll come. I can't get too upset because life has to go on, and there are more important things for me to be upset about, but I'll be disappointed. But I don't want to lose Kyle. I don't think that a guy who takes you somewhere 5 times in a row like that, pretty much, is garbage worthy. And Reed, I mean, I stick with Tomlin. I stick with Reed. I don't send them anywhere because you end up with Sirianni, and that's the only point I make. So I'd rather have, Bill Walsh didn't win every year. People could have given up on Bill Walsh if he didn't produce right away or fast enough, or if he didn't have the right weapons. I mean, and then he's nobody, and we don't know who Bill Walsh is, and we don't win any Super Bowls. It's just very, very roulette wheel, and I just try and roll with it. So I'll be disappointed, but if we go to the Super Bowl again, I'm going to be happy. To be honest with you, I'll be happy. And if we lose, I'll be disappointed. But will I be mad? Will I ask for people to be removed? No. But that doesn't mean other fans don't have the right to feel that way. I just want to get that point across. When things don't go great, you go back, you go to sleep, you wake up in the morning, and you do it again. That's just life. So I can't get too upset, but I can understand people who haven't seen 5 Super Bowls like me be upset. So I understand. Personally, no. I understand, though.
Well, I appreciate the honesty. I really do. And folks, don't burn down the door or throw your jerseys away or anything. It's just a bad dream I have, and it's just a thought. I'm really hoping that we swing for the fences and we don't have to worry about that. We can get it done this year.
May I say one thing, Brian?
Yeah.
I do think that we return to the Super Bowl. I think we spoil the 3-peat. We have a rematch. We spoil the 3-peat. And Kittle wins it for us on a touchdown. That's what I believe. I'm saying it way early, and that's not going to happen, but I'm going to be the first to say it.
Man, I would love to see it. All right, folks, thank you so much for waiting. We appreciate it. Gammon, give us a slammer right there at the end to think about, and I'm sure we got to argue about it.
He kicked into a hole.
Right? I mean, hey, he booted that one, right? So, if you guys know the special teams, you don't know the joke. But we got our guy, Wolf, and he is a great guy. He's one of the guys that, he was doing something and he needed a friend. And I said, hey, I'll be your friend. And then David said, I'll be your friend. And you know what? Kenny's been around. He's been watching them, and sometimes you don't always have time, and sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. And right now we got him on the move, and he is backstage. Let's bring him on. He's our friend, Mr. Wolf.
On the move.
Let's
go. Do I hear wolves in the background?
All right.
What's up, guys?
Right.
What's going on?
What's happening, buddy?
I'm on my way back from an appointment for work. Got another hour or so drive to get home. So I figure I'd do this out of my car on the way. Yeah, long work hours.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you. Anytime we can get you, we appreciate you. Your audio is a little low, so when you are talking, we are going to be very quiet so we can hear you. But what's your thoughts? What is your thoughts on the whole, if Kyle Shanahan gets to the Super Bowl next year, what's the repercussions going to be if he can't get it done? What will the faithful do?
Well, first, if my audio is low, does that sound better now?
Way better. Way better.
Okay. I'm getting closer to the microphone. So Kyle Shanahan, solely on Kyle Shanahan. Well, first and foremost, I'm still not over this damn Super Bowl. I am disappointed, very disappointed is an understatement. I can't even express how I feel, man. There was no reason we should have lost that game at all whatsoever. I could have been head coach and we would have won that game. So for him to screw that up in that form and fashion really pisses me off and hurts the hell out of me. So I got some tomatoes to throw at him. I have some tomatoes to throw at Christian McCaffrey. I have some tomatoes to throw at Ray McLeod.
Yeah.
Probably a couple others I could mention. I can even, it's going to sound a little harsh, but even at Dre Greenlaw, with knowing that you have that Achilles tendonitis leading up to that game, why in the effing hell would you put yourself in that position to put that kind of pressure on your Achilles? The way you leap from the sideline was completely unnecessary. You're a heavy guy. Your Achilles is not meant to take that kind of weight, especially when it's already been tenderized leading up to the game. So I got a lot of tomatoes I want to throw at these guys right now. It's a very shameful experience for myself, man. I think sometimes the team underestimates how invested the fans are, that they're a 49er for now, but we're 49ers for life. And that means a lot to me. So I'm really pissed off about this whole thing, the way everything went. If Kyle Shanahan loses another one, it's going to depend on the form and fashion in which we lose. One of the main reasons this one was so disappointing is because we were that juggernaut. And we played a lesser team. I think we all can agree. You guys can disagree if you want to, let me know. But I think we are all in agreement, along with the rest of the world, that the 49ers were the best team across the board in the NFL roster-wise. So to get beat by a lesser team that we were ahead on points in, very disappointing. So I don't know. It just depends what kind of circumstances we're going into this season, how good our team is doing throughout the regular season, and how I feel about them at that point. I think the draft is going to be a big one. If they go again and they don't invest in the offensive line, I'm gonna lose some hope. That's going to be pretty stupid and redundant.
Fair answer. It seems like a lot of people are very upset with the draft last year. Hindsight, people are upset with them going after running backs in the third round and then trading them to the Eagles, a season or two later. So if they don't go after an offensive lineman, it definitely seems like there's going to be some pitchforks, and that doesn't even mean a Super Bowl appearance or a loss at that point. So I think that's a good point to make. All right. I don't think you've met Kenny yet. Kenny's definitely subscribed to your channel. I know for a fact, and he's a big fan. So Kenny's going to give you yeah. So
I don't know if we've met. officially per se, but I've definitely seen them on the show. No, even when I can't catch these shows on live stream, I do catch them on my off time when I am able to. So I have seen them.
Awesome. I appreciate that. See, that's what friends are for, right? We all got friends and from different places all over the world, right? And what's neat is today's show, we've had 3 guests from 3 different locations. You could say different places on the United States. I'm not going to say one in a boat, but we definitely have one in a car, and we've been talking about one in a plane, right? So, David, I'm going to give it to you right after Kenny because I said Kenny first. Kenny, I probably went opposite. Kenny likes to be our closer on the questions. So, let's go ahead and give it to Kenny first because I didn't do it backwards, and I'm going to keep it up. So, go ahead, Kenny, if you got a question. If not, we'll rotate to David.
I got a quick question. What's going on, Wolf? I got to be honest. I don't know if I'm subscribed, but I will right after this. If I'm not, I promise. That's for sure. I'd be surprised if I wasn't, but I'm also a little older and I forget things. So,
yeah,
but
no worries.
Here's my question, Wolf. All right, what was the most embarrassing place you've farted?
That's a great question.
It is. It's a thinker.
The first part you were talking about, I don't even ask people to subscribe to my channel anymore. It's out of sight, out of mind at this point, just because I'm so busy. When I attack things like my channel, at the time when I was doing it, that was my sole focus. And if I can't focus on it the way I want to, then there's no point in me doing it. If you subscribe, great, I appreciate it. But there's no guarantee I'll ever get back to my channel, unfortunately.
No, it has nothing to do with it. I will be subscribed just because you're a good dude, man.
Right on, bro. And likewise, if you have a channel, I'll check it out and do the same. But most embarrassing place I've ever performed.
Yeah, it's a thinker and a stinker.
I don't know. I would probably imagine, because I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I've probably been on a date with a really hot girl and farted on the car on the way to the restaurant, or something like that, or on the way back from the restaurant.
Yeah, because you were holding it the whole date.
Yeah, well, yeah. And then digesting food from the restaurant on the way home.
Great. Hey, that sounds perfect. See, I couldn't give you one because I just do it all the time, so it doesn't matter.
I feel you, man.
All right, who's up?
Better out there than I.
Right.
You got a question, McNiner?
Yeah. Well, I'm big on wilderness. I love the great outdoors. What is your favorite thing to do and place to be?
Favorite place to be is really tough. Outdoors is definitely one of them, or definitely it. But that's general. So, I mean, I always love going new places like, Yellowstone, Yosemite, stuff like that. I want to go to the Devil's Tower. So I like finding new places to go and just being there in the moment with all the outside noise of the quote unquote civilized world there. Fishing is one of my favorite. Very peaceful. Also just sitting there, smoking some tobacco. Just sit there and meditate, something like that. General.
All right. So let me ask a question because I got a vibe here, and it's wilderness, right? So, is there a place that you've been? There's a place in Kentucky. It's called Mammoth Cave, and it's huge. It's huge, like a mammoth, right? And you can go into this cave, and it takes you a very, very long time to get through it. So, is there a place that you've ever been that is like that, where you've been into something where maybe potentially a civilization's been before, maybe one that's forgotten? And before you answer that, I'm kind of getting into this. Do you believe that there's a center society? Do you believe there's a society inside the world, a civilization that we're not able to get to?
I don't think so, just because the science of it. I know you were talking about the moon earlier, and it got me thinking about the science behind it. And I'm pretty big into not big, but I'd say I get interested in astronomy and how the planets came to form and stuff like that. And some of the theories are probably maybe even the well-known facts of how the moon was created. First and foremost was that a giant asteroid came and struck the Earth when it was molten, or partially molten or whatever, or it struck the Earth so hard that it molted the Earth almost to complete lava and knocked a chunk of it off and created the moon. That's stuff like that I've heard. So the moon used to be a big glob of lava in a sense, and cooled and hardened, which makes sense because it looks same like a similar formation to lava rocks that's probably been beat up over time. The other question was, what was exactly the question? Somewhere that's kind of like a hidden gem.
Yeah, like have you ever been in something like Mammoth Cave, like a really huge cave, or something really extraordinary like that?
I don't know, really extraordinary. I mean, Yosemite, I've been there. Yellowstone, I've been there. They're amazing. I always want to drop the F-bomb. I'm really expletive. But yeah, I've been in some really nice places. Because in Yosemite they got those trees that you can drive through. They're so big at the base of them, the trunk. Big Sur, man, beautiful. And then probably the one hidden gem that not a lot of people know about is in Central California, where I grew up. My grandpa used to take me as a little boy to this place called the Pinnacles, and it's an actual what's the word for it? Conservatory, or basically a reserve
Conservatory.
for condors. So it's one of the few places, especially in California, with the endangered condors, where they actually live freely.
Nice.
Because what condors do is the Pinnacles is these really huge cliffs, and so you hike through there. It's got trails and stuff like that. And me and my cousins were quote unquote bad kids, so we don't like to follow the trails. So we go off trail, and you're not supposed to go climb to the top of the cliffs, but we do it off trail. And yeah, that's where the condors like to put their nest, way at the top of these giant half a mile high cliffs, or however big they are. They're freaking huge. They're close to Salinas, California, King City, between that area and the mountain ranges.
Awesome. Well, again, there's this place in Kentucky. It's called Mammoth Cave, and it's huge. There's enough room for a whole city to be maybe down there. And then there's a place in Asia that is a giant cave, and they didn't know about it. They did not know about it. They found it, and there's all kinds of life in it, and it's just really wild. So I've been getting really interested in hearing about stories with the inside of the Earth potentially having life or a civilization, maybe something similar to like Atlantis or something like that. I have really gotten interested in that recently, but we could probably do a whole show on that. And I did tell you I'd keep it to about 15 minutes, and it's probably about time to end the show for everybody. I know it's one of those times you don't want to sing MICKY, but I have one more question for you, and this is the one that I wanted to ask you. Is it the Green Ranger or is it the White Ranger? Which is the Tommy that you like the most?
Oh, well, first and foremost, I know you want to keep it short. I'm in a rush, so it's completely up to you guys. Like I said, I got a long drive home, but the one thing, I kind of lost my train of thought. But let me know when we're going to Mammoth Cave. The other thing is, so like I've probably told you guys before, I'm half Mayan. So on my mom's side, we're Mayan, and our family's from by Cancun, where all the pyramids are. And so They have what you call cenotes out there in Cancun or Yucatan area, basically the whole state, I guess. So if you guys don't know what those are, they're giant underwater caves. So one day I want to jump into one of those big hole, it's a big pool of water. You see, like clear, beautiful blue water. You jump into it from the side of a cliff. It's a big hole in the earth with just a pool of water, and you can basically snorkel or scuba dive in there. So that'd be pretty cool to try one day. Ryan, if you ever want to go out there, let me know.
Okay. I would definitely be down. Kenny, do you have a question? Because I don't have to.
I want to come, and we're parachuting into that hole. We're not jumping from some cliff. We're parachuting in.
Good luck with that. Those things from the sky, they're very small, so you can probably get a face full of rock.
Hey,
trees.
Tomorrow never ends, like the Bond movie. It's just that's the risk. You know, we'll all do it when we're older and we have nothing anymore. We have nothing to lose.
Nothing to live for. Nothing to live for. They're surrounded by rainforests, right? So you got to be careful with the trees. You would really have to stick the landing. You'd probably die trying to do that.
Well, I have a question for Wolf. Actually, Wolf, you say you're Mayan, right? So do the Arawak Indians? Does that? I know Indians isn't the correct term, but Arawak. Do you know that tribe?
I know Iroquois.
Well, Arawak apparently was in the South America, and they walked all the way up through Mexico and even through like the Antilles, which is like Puerto Rico and Cuba and Jamaica and Barbados and Florida, all the way up there. So you know, we're all more connected than we think. We don't all know where we come from. We have ancestors who were explorers, who got on ships and ended up on another end of the world and mated with people in the area that they would come to, and we just don't know. And maybe one day we can. And I look forward to that day. I feel like knowing your past is very important for you to, you know, improve yourself and to progress and to have progress in your life, you know, to understand yourself better.
Oh, 100%. That's something that I always tell everybody, you know. What people forget about knowing where you come from is the culture that's behind that, and that's what gives people their values. You know, what should be important when it comes to morals and values. That's typically what culture is important for. As far as Arawak, sounds very familiar. I don't know them specifically, but yeah, natives as a whole, we're all very mobile people. I know my Mayan side was navigating all the way to Pacific Islands, where Canada is now. So, you know, obviously for those reasons, I have my specific opinions on the borders and stuff like that, because it was all open land to us before. So, I don't know. Yeah. It's all weird stuff.
Also, remember Pangea, because the continents all used to touch. So, like, basically, like, Northeast used to touch, like, Scotland and Ireland and England, and then South America used to touch Africa, and they all used to touch. And so, if you go back even further, we're all just from the same few tribes. We have to remember that. We're all family, man. We're all close, and that we all need to, you know, help each other, protect each other.
So, okay, I'm gonna ask you a question. If David, do you have a question?
One second.
No, what you got, Brian?
Okay, go ahead, Wolf, and then I'll go.
Yeah, 1 second. Just because we're talking about what we're talking about right now, about, you know, the tribes being mobile and stuff like that. Well, there's actually jaguars used to be another thing that used to navigate just from where Mexico is now to through Arizona. And now, at first they found one. Now they've confirmed 3 jaguars in Arizona. So they might be starting to migrate again. The jaguars between Mexico and where Arizona is now. That's pretty cool. That's it.
No, man, that's why we wanted you on, so we could get you to talk as well. So there's a great it's not great, you don't want to hear certain things. Animals should be where they're supposed to be, but how can you tell one animal not to stay in? It's a free animal. They can walk where they want to walk, right? So, like you're saying, there's animals that have migrated, and people thought, "Oh, that was a fairy tale," or "No, it's not true." Well, in Kentucky, if you hear a lady screaming and a baby crying, that's the sound of a black panther. There are panthers in Kentucky. There are panthers in Kentucky, and people they are all no. There are leopards, and there have been jaguars sighted and found in Florida.
Florida
It's
panther.
yeah, it's really weird. So these animals do travel. So here's my question that's going to kind of come for there. If you have to say it exists, okay. If you have to say it doesn't exist, but I'm going to throw an animal to you and you tell me if it's real or make believe. or if it's still around, right? Because prehistoric animals are going to be questioned as well. Does Bigfoot exist?
Yes.
Is there a difference in Sasquatch and Bigfoot?
Yeah, the name.
Just the name? You think they're the same? You think they're the same?
Yeah.
They don't get along. They don't get along.
Sasquatch is the native name for what Bigfoot is.
Would you say the Yeti is the cousin to the Bigfoot, or are they like a different origin, different species? Because they're supposed to be white, right? The Yeti.
Yeah, Yeti. I would assume so, right? I don't know as much about the Yeti because where I'm from, thought as polar.
Yeah.
That's where the Yeti's.
It's
So
warm.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Albino Bigfoot.
Albino Bigfoot. Yeah. Well, actually, so I go to Sundance ceremony, as I've talked to you guys about. Those creatures scared the hell out of my little brother when I was at Sundance ceremony. So I've never seen that look in his eye before. That's the long story short.
I believe it. Have a little bit of feedback, but no worries. So okay, we've established Bigfoot is real. What about mermaids?
Mermaids? I don't know about those, but I know merman.
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 They say there's a Loch Ness monster, and they also say in the Congo there is a dinosaur. What do you say, yay or nay? Is there a dinosaur in the Congo?
Congo is way more believable. I don't think the Loch Ness. I'm sure they've done their dives, and if not, there's a reason they're avoiding doing those. They don't want to expose that it's not true. Because we have the gear that we have to dive into the ocean these days, certain submarines and stuff like that. So if Loch Ness is in a lake, I'm sure we would have discovered that by now, figured that out. So the Congo, way more believable.
All right, so I'm gonna finish you out with this one. And it's more of a question, more of a would you do it? I'm really excited about this one. In Kentucky, there's a man-made lake called Lake Cumberland, and when they got together, they put these rivers together and they made a dam. And when they were building the dam, there was these reports that there were these catfish the size of Volkswagen Beetles in the water. So there was a lot of people that went down in scuba diving gear that will refuse to go back into the water because when you see a Volkswagen Bug, you're like, oh, okay, it's a car, right? A German car, whatever, right? But when you see a catfish the size of a Volkswagen Beetle, that's one of those things you kind of don't unsee, right? And you don't really make up a thing about that. Like why in Kentucky, there's not too many places to work. So, if you get an opportunity to go to work, you go to work, right? It is a Commonwealth state. So if anybody knows what that means, it means everyone's commonly poor. So here's my question. Have you ever heard of the term noodling? And not pause. No, there's a thing. There's an event. You go out in nature, and it's called catfishing, and you go noodling. So are you familiar with the term, Wolf, noodling?
Oh yeah. I would never do it.
Oh, okay. That's my question right there. Would you go with me? Can we go? I mean, we'll go in the water. I mean, I need a buddy there. I'll stick my hand in that pond. There's some kind of catfish den or something like that. And I'll pull it out. I'll wave it in the air like I don't care. But the whole thing is you're supposed to trap and release. And, I don't want to go with anybody who won't do it. And I don't want to go with anybody who's going to make fun of me doing it, because it's supposed to be like a bonding thing. Like, I got my arm almost eaten off by a catfish. You did too. And we're supposed to come together as so. If there's something in the future that you're down to do like that, let me know. I'm definitely going to do the noodling thing one day. I'm not afraid. Catfish, I don't want to eat a catfish, but I tell you what, yeah, let's go. I'm gonna get you convinced into it. We'll keep talking. David, what you got? You want to go noodling with me, buddy?
I'd go. I mean, you just got to put this wire mesh like glove all the way up your arm, stick it in that hole, let the catfish clamp down on it, then you grab its scales and you yank it out.
David's more worried about which noodle you're using.
Well, it is the late Friday night. It is Friday night, folks, and we like to have a little bit of fun. Kenny, same question for you. You want to go noodling?
Absolutely not.
All right.
I'll sit on the pontoon.
I love it.
With a 30-pack.
I love it.
Hell yeah.
I'll watch.
All right, Wolf, before we get out of here, do you have any questions that you'd like to ask any one of us here? If not, well, we definitely want to have you come back.
Yeah. How are you guys doing? Really? How are you guys doing?
Really, how are you?
Honestly, since Korey passed, it's been a little rough. Still missing him a whole lot. I don't think I'm ever going to stop missing him. We're doing the show in title of him, in memory of him. And, every time you say his name, we keep him alive, right? And we have a jersey giveaway going on right now. Me and David are trying to build our channels up a little bit. And we're trying to continue to build Korey up, because I believe if all three of us were still streaming together, we would continue to do that. And hopefully one day, make it to that 1,000 subscribers. That's the ultimate goal for most YouTubers, is they want to say, hey, I made it to 1,000. You get to like 50, you feel good. You get to 100, you feel better. And then you just keep growing, right? And it's not about like making money. It's about just being like having fun. And, it's just like a milestone, right? So I really do, I miss Korey, and I've been having fun with this jersey giveaway that we're trying to get people to subscribe to, and then they can win this fantastic jersey. And I got to tell everybody, it's really easy. You just go on the website. It's on our website. You watch the video that we played already, pause it, email me. You have to be subscribed to all 3 channels, and then you get a chance to win. There's only been like 4 people who have actually signed up, actually went through the contest. So, yeah, other than that, I've been doing okay. My brother, he was staying with me for a little while. I had a lot of fun when he was here. My sister, she had heart surgery. She had a heart attack a week ago. She's doing way better now. So I've been really stressed, but holding it down, feeling good. David, how are you doing? I know Wolf hasn't got to talk to you, and he wants to know how you doing.
I'm doing good. Kind of strange times around my place. Like, a few months ago, there was a fire at the place that way. And I was actually out there with the hose in the middle of the night, fighting it until the fire department showed up with their big equipment. And, the neighbors on this side with the 8 kids, they just moved out without telling a soul. I was actually, they've lived there since the kids were born. Like their 15-year-old, was 1 when they moved in over there. This is how long I've known them. And they just were out. Didn't tell a soul. Everyone's like, what? The house is empty? You know?
Cold-blooded.
And I know he bought some property in a rural mountain area in the eastern part of the United States. And he was talking about like homesteading it, but I didn't think he was this serious.
Oh, no. Dang.
But
They'll
it's
probably
just
come
kind of
by.
strange. It's just kind of strange. You know someone for that long, you're actually friends with them, and they just, bam, gone. Don't even say goodbye. That's kind of rude, you know?
That's
He's probably one of those people that had to hurry up and move the stuff over there, and is probably going to swing by out of the blue one day and see when you're home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hope so. Bring his 8 kids, his 8 kids that used to raid my house, you know, at least twice a week, you know, bring them over here. It's kind of, now I'm not going to have like chaos and mayhem going on 2 times a week in my place, but you know, I got used to it.
Yeah.
you know that's a good thing too. It's like sometimes chaos and madness is it's hectic at the time, right? But then there could be silence, and then what do you have? You have silence and peace for a little while, and then after the peace and the silence, you still have silence, and then you have loneliness, and then from there, silence is not necessarily what people want. So sometimes when you do have noise, you do have that energy, you have other people around you. A lot of people, that's why they like living in the cities, because they get that vibe from other people. Just like what Gammon was saying, you get charged by other people, their energy and stuff, and it really just it helps people. Kenny, how you feeling, man? Before we get out of here, you want to tell the folks how you doing?
I'm good, bub. I just work and poo and shower and eat and work and poo, and that's it, man.
Bart.
Another cog in the wheel. I only
Hey.
fart on bean days, but yeah.
Crop dusting people in the supermarket.
I'm just floating around like a bag on Earth here. I'm just floating around.
Well,
wherever I end up, it's all good.
Sometimes you got to just go with the flow, and that sounds like exactly what you're doing. And we appreciate all of your time, David, your time, and Wolf. Thank you so much for coming. You've been a great guest, folks. We might go a little longer next time, but there's not going to be an after-hour show tonight. We got some things that we got to do tomorrow. David will be doing his thing. I will be doing my thing, and we will be back again next time. But guys, I really do appreciate everyone in the chat. Thank you so much for coming through. Please like and subscribe to everybody. We really do appreciate you. There's a lot of content creators in the chat. There's a lot of great people in the chat and good friends. We appreciate every one of you. Folks, I really do just want you guys just to remember today's Friday. I'm going to go get a slice of pizza because at my house, it's Friday, Pizza Friday. So with that, you guys have a good day. We're going to end it, and we will see you next time. Hopefully next Friday, we will see you. Look for a premiere. And then hopefully after that, David will be going live. And with that, guys, we will see you guys next time. Have a good Friday night. We'll see you next time.